the butterfly effect could just possibly change your life. So the butterfly effect is the theory, and there's some cult classic movies from, I think, the 90s, named exactly that, the butterfly effect. But the theory states that a flap of wings could change time. It could change everything. That if you went back in time, that changing one single moment in time, stepping on a bug, changing a butterfly, any of those things, could completely change the future, change history, change your life, change everybody's life. And it's the butterfly effect as it flows on and changes so much of the future. So here's my question to you. If you could go back and you could change something in your past, you could pick one moment, one thing, or even multiple things, and you would change the outcome of them, or changed how you acted, or took a different path, would you do it? Would you go back and change history if you could? Rewrite those things that have haunted you for years. If you could do that, would you? But here's the caveat. Here's the catch. That if you do, if you go back and change all the things that could have been there, that have made you who you are, who do you become then? If you change those things, you become a completely different person. You're a different man now. You've gone back, you've changed, you've righted the wrongs, you've overwritten everything that went wrong in your life. All those missed opportunities, you took them. And you flash back to present day. And you're a different person. How does that feel for you? How do you sit with that? What are the thoughts and emotions now that you're a different man? Because all those things that happened through the past, good, bad, or otherwise, have shaped you into the person you are right now. The way you think, the way you act, the habits and choices you have, the people you love, the good things that you have done in your life, the wins, all of that is because of all the things that have happened to you. That's why every human being is their own unique blend of humanity, because you have to have those perfect combination of things, not just parents, not just siblings, not just physical attributes or intelligence or athleticism or talent or gifts or whatever it may be. You also have to have the experiences that go along with them, the hardships, the choices that made you into the man you are today. So if you could change it all, would you? That's the question. Now, we talk about how fragile the past is and how the smallest action, the squashing of a bug, could change the entirety of human history. And yet we neglect to think about how much changing something right now is. Because you, right here, right now, in this moment, is the past version of you in the future. So the choices you make right here, right now, will dictate what happens to you in the future. Will dictate who you become. So if we're so worried about, that we could rewrite history with the smallest act, imagine what a giant act in your life could do right now. Imagine if you actually stepped up and made a definitive choice today to become the best version of you. To stop accepting all those things that you don't like about your life, to stop tolerating them and just letting it be. But instead, you decided that you were going to be the best version of yourself, that you were going to go out there and discover who you could truly become with dedication, with time, with effort. Because remember, your whole life is dictated, your reality, everything you have, again, good, bad, or otherwise, is dictated by your choices, your thoughts, and your habits. So what if you shifted them all? If a butterfly can change the course of human history, what impact could you making those choices have on your history, on your future, on everything that's to come? If you decided that you were no longer going to settle, if you made a decision that it was time to go do the things that mattered, who could you become? Who could future you be? And how grateful would future you be? I saw this great one by Jimmy Carr, and he talked about we all have to serve someone. With the choices, with the actions, with the decisions we make, we have to serve someone. So why don't we serve you? 24 hours from now. All the choices you make serve you, but you in 24 hours from now. That food that you eat, that exercise you do, the work that you do, the love that you give, the presence that you have, the emotions that you choose to serve you 24 hours from now. It's not selfish. Everyone claims that serving you is selfish. It's not. Being the best version of you is the greatest gift that you can give all those in your life that matter. It's only selfish to the people who are taking advantage of you. It's only selfish to the ones that you start to say no to because you're choosing your happiness and your best version of it. It's only selfish to them because they like the version of you that they get to use and abuse. It's why so frequently when you change, when you become a better version, when you step into yourself, that those closest to you that love the version that serves them doesn't like that you've changed. And they'll say things like, oh, you changed. You used to be this, man. Yeah, I did change. Change for the better. I show up better as a better husband, a better man, a better father. I show up better for all those in my life. And you can't serve those that you care about if you're a shell of yourself. The king has to eat first, because if the king's running on empty, he has nothing to serve the rest of them. So, if we utilize the butterfly effect here, if we took it and decided that the smallest action could create the largest change, what could you do today? What could you go out in and do? What choices could you make to impact your life so that you can serve the you in 24 hours better? That you could serve yourself to be the best version so that you can serve others on a higher level. What actions could you take to do that? Shockingly, I have some suggestions. My first suggestion, as always, is my weighted walk challenge, my 30-day weighted walk challenge. Because you would be shocked at what dedicating 45 minutes a day for 30 days will do to your life. You want to talk about the butterfly effect, the smallest action creating the biggest change? That is this. That is this to the letter. Because it's just 45 minutes. Doesn't seem like much. But if you go after it, if you give it everything you've got, rain, hail, or shine, and you get out there, you're going to strip away unwanted body fat like no tomorrow. To put it in perspective at the moment, that is all I'm doing. And every day I am getting leaner. I'm still doing my workout, but at the moment it's all rehab stuff, so it's barely challenging me. I'm rehabbing a couple of injuries, old injuries, because as you get older, you realize that maybe it's time to stop thinking that you're Superman and you might actually have to do something about those injuries. So I'm getting them back on track. So the only form of serious, hard effort that I am doing is my weighted walks. And every day I get leaner. And I'm already reasonably lean. So you have that. You get stronger. You get fitter. You don't realize the level of conditioning and strength that is being delivered from this. You know, your whole physical aspect and your physique will change from this one action. But then there's the mental side. Then there's the discipline, the confidence, the mental toughness. Because if you do this properly, there should be basically every day, you're in the hurt locker and you're realizing how much this sucks and you just have to find another that level. You have to find another gear, and you have to deal with the things up in your head, the resistance, the demons, the beasts that are talking shit, and you just keep fucking going, and you stare them down, you face that dragon, and you crush it, and you overcome resistance, and you keep pushing forward. So you develop mental toughness, you develop mental acuity and fortitude. You also discover who you are. So few of us actually know who we are when shit hits the fan, because we never put ourselves into a situation where we're forced to fight against our body, our thoughts, the stories in our heads. We only have comfortability. And so when we are forced to face up to that and do what has to be done, you're truly going to discover what values you have, what you're willing to do, what you're willing to push forward with. And that's an important factor. And you'll develop confidence because you'll be a man of your word. Because for 30 days, as I said, rain, hail, or shine, you are outside getting that shit done. There are no days off. There are no rest periods. There is just go. So you'll discover discipline. You'll discover focus and drive and fortitude. And what happens when you don't feel like doing it? Because I can guarantee you there will be days where you do not feel like doing this, and it has to get done regardless. So you learn about that. And the list goes on and on. It is why my 30-day weighted walk challenge is the starting point for 126 to greatness, because it has the butterfly effect. It has the smallest, most insignificant amount of effort to create such a gigantic change in your life. And that's what this is about. As I said, the flapping of a butterfly's wings could change the course of human history. Imagine what you going all in on yourself could be. Imagine what you becoming the fittest, the strongest, the healthiest, most confident, most disciplined version of yourself could mean. Imagine how that affects your kids, your wife, your friends, your family. You start setting a new standard for yourself. And they will either come with you and rise up and be inspired by what you are doing, or you'll realize that those friends and sometimes family who fall away weren't actually that. They didn't care that much about you to begin with. But this simple act, this small action, can change everything. And as I said to you at the start, our reality, our life, where we end up is dedicated and dictated by our choices, our thoughts, and our habits. So change them. Start changing them. Start putting them to good use. Start thinking in a way that's going to serve you. Start focusing and taking action in ways that is going to change your life. You can literally rewrite the history of your family, of your whole life, in 90 days. You then have to maintain it, absolutely, but not, 30, 60, 90, 126 days can shift everything as long as you commit to it all in. But that's where it starts. We want to talk about the effects on the past. You are the past version of your future. And if you aren't happy where you currently are, maybe it's time to start changing those things. Because what you're doing right now, if you continue to repeat what you have done up until this point, guess what? Shock horror, you're just going to get more of the same. You're just going to continue to end up in the same place. You're going to continue to just exist in this moment. But if you want to change, if you want to utilize that butterfly effect to create something better, to change the history of your life, the history of your kids' lives, your wives' lives, all those people you have impact on, it starts now. The smallest action can have the biggest effect if it's done with commitment and focus and force. So let's go all in. Let's not dick around with this anymore. Let's make a commitment to do what has to be done. Because you're in charge. You're in charge of the story, of your legacy, of what will be told about your life. And unless you are blazing a trail right now that you are super proud of, it might be time to take stock and think about what actions, thoughts, and habits you might need to implement in your life to become a better version of yourself. So that's all I have for you. I'll leave you with that. And as always, I ask, if you took value of this, if you found something of note, if it inspired you, please like, comment, subscribe. Please help me join this movement and grow it. So if you know someone else who could take a nugget of wisdom from it, please send it to them. Help me grow the greatness movement. Next, if you want to dip your toe in the water and see who you can become with a bit of mental toughness, a bit of mental fortitude, click the link in my bio and join the Daily Greatness Mail and grab my top 10 tools to transform your mental toughness. Lastly, if you are ready to go all in, if you are ready to utilize the butterfly effect and to become the best version of yourself and see how you can change the legacy and the history of your family, then please send me a message and I will give you all the details to join my 30-day weighted walk challenge, and we can see who you can become when you go all in. Until then.